All right, I've gotten my hopes up in the past and I've been disappointed, but I think Winds of Winter is coming. Granted, I believe George R. R. Martin when back in 2020 he said that if he didn't have a finished copy of the manuscript in hand to give to Worldcon, then he was to be locked in a cabin in White Island overlooking the lake of sulfuric acid until it's finished. And then Worldcon didn't happen, so he said that's a loophole and he's not in prison. So I believed his last deadline for 2020, and we're now into 2022. But the fact that he felt confident enough to give a deadline, I think is a good sign. Just because I don't think he really made a strict prediction since 2015, because he just kept blowing past deadlines and they weren't attainable, so they didn't happen. He didn't want to give anyone more false hope. I think it's on the way, which is a statement I may come to regret. There's a supposed internal source that said November 2023. I'm not believing that. I'm not believing that until George R. R. Martin puts on his Not a Blog saying Winds of Winter is done, the manuscript is finished, it's all written out, it's in the publisher's hands. Unless the place burns down and my computer crashes or my typewriter explodes, it's on the way. I'm not believing it until that moment. However, that does not mean I don't believe the 2023 deadline or the source. My reasoning for this is twofold. One, there's a Broadway play for the Tourney of Harrenhal where Lyanna and Rhaegar meet. And I am basing this off the pure faith and probably delusion I have that this is coming, based on another YouTube video who said that George R. R. Martin has said in the past that he's not going to reveal what happened explicitly at Harrenhal until the books have been published. I can't find that statement by him, but I'm going to believe it's true. I'm also going to be very hopeful for a 2022 or 2023 release date just because of House of the Dragon. And that's coming in 2022, and I can't believe that HBO will be that stupid to make this series and continue this franchise after the travesty that was season 8. I'm serious. I'm just pretending season 8 didn't exist. It got canceled after season 5. I was heartbroken. No, Game of Thrones, season 5. Maybe some little bits of season 6 might have slipped into my memory, but that's it. If House of the Dragon is to be successful, I can't imagine that it can be, and HBO knows this, without fixing season 8. We need the story completed for this prequel to be worth watching. I'm hoping an announcement will be made before the show starts saying publication is in process. It'll be released for maybe the conclusion of the series or something like that. I don't know. But it needs to be done. The only thing I'm thinking of that HBO is just that stupid and is going to release House of the Dragon with no knowledge of the books being completed is the fact that they canceled so many of their other spin-offs. Worst case scenario, I'm thinking we just get Winds of Winter eventually. And unfortunately, we don't get Dream of Spring. I'll be sad, but that might be what happens. Best case scenario, Winds of Winter is completed and he's currently working on Dream of Spring, or he's working on both of them at the same time and they're both almost finished and they'll come out within a couple of years of each other, or maybe he'll blow us away and they'll be released a couple months apart. That is me being delusional. But let me be delusional. Now, one last thing I want to go on record for saying is that while I'm hopeful and optimistic that we'll get Winds of Winter in 2023, I will be okay if we don't. To everyone who says like an author owes their fan a completed series, or the fans are the reason they're famous, or the fans are the reason that they have a job and the lifestyle they have, and in return, the authors owe them a completed series. I understand where that comes from. I thought the same way a couple of years back. Your feelings are valid. I understand. However, if you're still in this mindset, may I just offer you a suggestion or something to think about? D&D just wanted to complete the series. They owed the producers, HBO, and the fans a completed series. And despite my memory block of the fact that season 8 exists, there is no war in Ba Sing Se, the series was completed. It is finished for HBO. Was it satisfying? No. So I would rather that the author, in this case George R. R. Martin, spend all the time he needs, take all the time to feel that he's putting his life's work and creative foot forward to complete the series he wants to tell. If he just completes this series with the mindset of, I need it finished, and maybe not clue things up the best way or rush it or do anything but make the correct decisions and conclusions for these characters and these storylines, I would be heartbroken for that to be the final product. So as a person with empathy and compassion, I want him to work on other things that gives him joy and other projects and create new names for himself, work on other television shows, because I want him happy and to fulfill his creative motivations. As a completely selfish person, I want him to be creative and happy in those sense, so when he is working on Song of Ice and Fire, he's not burnt out. He's not doing it as an obligation. He's doing it because he wants to, and therefore the story will be the best one it can be. So I do not want a season 8 equivalent book for Song of Ice and Fire. I want it to be the best it can be. I want him to write it when he's ready, and if it doesn't come out in 2022, 2023, 2030, it's because it's not quite ready yet. And that's okay. I will be sad, and I will continue to be optimistic that it's coming in the future. Fingers crossed, I may come to regret this. All right, so basically, I read Game of Thrones in high school. And then I started watching the TV show, and I heard that it's been a long time since the last book was published, and they're waiting on Winds of Winter. So I figured, okay, I don't really want to start a series until the next book is published and it's almost finished. I don't want to get caught up in the series and then have to wait. So I'll just watch the show, and then I'll start the books when the next book is published. I've not continued Game of Thrones yet, or Song of Ice and Fire yet. So, in attempts to pass by my optimistic and delusion stuff, I'm going to reread Game of Thrones, and then I'm going to continue with the series because, again, I am optimistic that Winds of Winter is coming. A statement I will likely regret. But there you have it. See ya.